The alien fleet, sleek and foreboding, descended in perfect formation. Their ships were shimmering with crystalline facades and edged with lethal energy, cut through Earth's atmosphere in a blaze of light. Commander Zelkor, the Dominion's ruthless admiral, surveyed the planet with cold detachment from his command vessel. "We have the planet," he declared, voice resonating with certainty. "Prepare for immediate occupation. Secure all key infrastructure and eliminate any potential resistance." His officers, bred for obedience and tactical precision, nodded in unison. They had been assured that Earth was empty, that no defenders would rise to challenge their dominion. Across the skies, the first wave of landing craft streaked downward, their thrusters glowing like embers. In major cities, chaos erupted as the alien craft made contact with Earth's surface. But rather than encountering resistance from organized armies or advanced technology, the invaders found only confused, isolated pockets of humanity struggling to comprehend the sudden intrusion. In a small town nestled between rolling hills and ancient forests, Jonas Reeves, a humble mechanic with a fierce independent spirit, watched the sky darken with unfamiliar silhouettes. His heart pounded not with fear alone, but with the fierce determination that had long defined his people. Little did he know that his quiet resolve was about to become the spark that would ignite Earth's indomitable counterattack. Across continents, military leaders scrambled to decipher the nature of the threat. Initially, many dismissed the reports as isolated incidents, a malfunctioning projection of the alien presence. But as more and more cities reported widespread phenomena of energy surges and unusual geological activity, the pattern emerged: the planet itself was responding. In Washington, D.C., General Amelia Carter convened an emergency meeting with top military advisors. "Our satellite feeds show disturbances along fault lines and seismic anomalies that we can't account for," she explained, her tone edged with urgency. "It's as if the planet is waking up." Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, combing through decades of geological data to understand the phenomenon. Dr. Rajiv Malhotra, a renowned geophysicist, argued that Earth's crust might hold a latent, planetary defense mechanism, a myth passed down through ancient legends. "There are accounts from cultures around the world," he said, "of a titanic guardian that emerges when the planet is imperiled." At first, these notions were dismissed as superstition. But as the tremors grew stronger and more frequent, a sense of awe and trepidation spread among the populace. Humanity was confronted not only by an external threat, but by the very possibility that Earth itself was alive, possessing a will and power beyond any human command. Deep beneath the surface, in caverns formed eons ago and hidden from prying senses, a colossal being stirred. Known to the ancients as the Titan, it was a living embodiment of Earth's primal might. For countless millennia, it had slumbered in quiet vigil, its dreams interwoven with the heartbeat of the planet. The moment the Dominion's forces set foot on Earth, their intrusion sent ripples through the Titan's consciousness. In an instant, the creature's dormant senses flared to life. It was no mindless beast, but a guardian, a force of nature forged in the crucible of time and tempered by the planet's eternal spirit. As the Titan rose from its subterranean prison, mountains trembled and oceans roiled. The very air vibrated with the sound of awakening. Ancient forests bent in reverence, and the skies darkened as if mourning the impending conflict. Humanity, though terrified by the sudden upheaval, felt a surge of hope, an inexplicable assurance that the planet would not be so easily subdued. The first encounter was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. As alien warships descended over a major metropolitan center, a vast, hulking form burst forth from the Earth's crust. Towering above the tallest skyscrapers, the Titan let out a resounding bellow, a sound that echoed across the continents and struck fear into the hearts of the invaders. Commander Zelkor watched in disbelief from his flagship as his fleet was caught off guard by this colossal entity. "What is that abomination?" he barked into the comm system. His voice trembled with a mix of fury and terror as the Titan advanced, each step shaking the ground and shattering alien formations. In a display of unimaginable power, the Titan swatted entire landing craft from the sky as if they were mere insects. Its limbs moved with a grace that belied its gargantuan size, and its eyes glowed with an ancient, inscrutable intelligence. For every alien soldier that fired their weapons, the creature's skin absorbed and dissipated the energy, a living shield against the Dominion's most advanced technology. On the streets below, ordinary citizens, led by the likes of Jonas Reeves, rallied in defiant solidarity. "This is our home," Jonas shouted, rallying a group of survivors. "We stand together, no matter what." Armed with nothing more than improvised weapons and an unyielding spirit, they joined forces with military remnants striving to mount a counter-offensive. The battle was chaotic, a maelstrom of alien technology and raw, elemental power. Alien forces, confident in their superiority, found themselves outmatched at every turn. The Titan's wrath was swift and merciless. With each sweeping motion, it tore through enemy ranks, reducing sleek vessels to shattered husks and scattering alien infantry like dust in the wind. As the conflict escalated, the Dominion leadership scrambled to reassess their strategy. The assumption that Earth was a lifeless backwater had been shattered, replaced by the brutal reality of an awakened planet with a guardian that defied every expectation. In a war room aboard the flagship, Commander Zelkor and his advisors pored over rapidly evolving intelligence. "We underestimated the planetary defense," one officer admitted, voice quavering. "Our sensors never recorded any such entity. It appears Earth's geology is more than a collection of rocks, it is a living force." Despite desperate attempts to regroup and recalibrate their tactics, the Dominion forces were in disarray. Their technology, sophisticated though it was, could not counter the primal fury of a being that had existed long before the stars were born. One by one, their fleets were decimated, leaving them with no choice but to retreat in disorganized panic. Meanwhile, on Earth's surface, General Carter and Dr. Malhotra found themselves at the epicenter of a historic convergence. "This is not merely a military battle," Dr. Malhotra observed. "It is the moment when our world asserts its right to live, its right to resist." General Carter, steeling herself in the face of overwhelming odds, replied, "Humanity may be fragile, but we are resilient. Today, we fight not just for survival, but for the soul of our planet." Across continents, in the smoldering ruins of cities, survivors rallied behind the common banner of freedom. Volunteers and soldiers alike forged a makeshift alliance, blending military precision with the raw, unyielding grit that had defined humanity since its dawn. In the midst of the chaos, individuals like Jonas Reeves emerged as unlikely heroes, embodiments of the HFY spirit, determined to reclaim their world from forces that would see it subdued. As the Dominion fleet's remnants gathered for one final desperate push, the Titan moved inexorably toward the alien command center. The creature's advance was heralded by shockwaves that shattered glass and knocked down barricades, a physical manifestation of nature's indomitable will. In a climactic moment that would be etched into the annals of history, the Titan engaged the alien flagship in a titanic struggle. Energy beams clashed with ancient, raw power, alien technology splintered beneath the force of centuries-old might. Commander Zelkor, desperate to salvage his dying fleet, ordered a full-scale assault, a last, futile attempt to regain control. But it was too late. The Titan's massive hand swept through the enemy ranks, scattering advanced warships like driftwood. The air was filled with the anguished cries of the vanquished and the triumphant roar of a guardian awakened. In a single, decisive moment, the Dominion's ambitions were shattered, and Earth's defenders found their rallying cry transformed into a battle hymn of victory. As the alien flagship was overwhelmed, its systems flickering and failing, the Dominion's command structure collapsed. The remnants of their fleet, now leaderless and terrified, began a haphazard retreat into the void from which they had come. And as the last of the alien vessels fled the atmosphere, the Titan stood as a silent sentinel over a world that had reclaimed its sovereignty. In the quiet that followed the tumultuous battle, Earth began to heal. The scars of war were deep, but the spirit of humanity had been rekindled by the extraordinary events that had transpired. Across continents, communities united to rebuild, forging new bonds and a renewed sense of purpose. General Carter addressed the world in a broadcast that resonated with both grief and hope. "Today, we stand together not as victims, but as survivors, resilient, defiant, and united. Our planet is more than the sum of its scars, it is a living, breathing testament to the unyielding spirit of humanity. In the laboratories of scientists and the forges of engineers, new research was launched to understand the Titan, a guardian unlike any other, whose emergence had not only decimated an alien armada but had also awakened a dormant legacy of Earth's ancient power. Dr. Malhotra and his team painstakingly documented every tremor, every ripple in the fabric of the planet's crust, determined to unlock the secrets of this primordial force. Meanwhile, in the ruins of what once was a bustling alien command center, a single transmission pulsed into space, a warning etched in the wreckage of shattered technology. "Beware the sleeping giant," it read in fragmented, desperate code. "For Earth is alive, and it defends its own." That message, a beacon of defiance, would echo throughout the galaxies, a cautionary tale to any who dared to underestimate the might of a world that had always been more than it seemed. As the months turned to years, the memory of the invasion and the awe-inspiring awakening of the Titan became legend. The battle for Earth had forged a new era, one defined not by subjugation but by the indomitable will of a species that had stared into the abyss and emerged triumphant. Humanity took its first tentative steps into a future where the scars of conflict served as reminders of both loss and victory. New alliances were formed, and the boundaries between science and myth began to blur. The Titan, now revered as a guardian rather than a monster, became a symbol of hope, a living reminder that sometimes the greatest strength is found in unity with one's home. In classrooms, the story of Earth's awakening was taught alongside history and science, a tale that transcended generations. It was a narrative of struggle and triumph, of how a planet and its people had risen from the depths of despair to challenge the cosmos itself. And in the hearts of every human, the words echoed, "Humanity, fuck yeah." Yet even as Earth began to rebuild, the cosmos took notice. Far beyond the reaches of human space, whispers of the Titan's awakening traveled among the stars. Other races, those who had long lived under the yoke of oppressive empires or who harbored their own ambitions of conquest, paused to consider the implications of a planet that could rise as one. In the shadowed corridors of alien fleets and among the clandestine halls of interstellar governments, debates were held. If Earth can summon such power in its darkest hour, mused a high-ranking officer from a rival race, what other secrets lie hidden in the cosmos? For every conquered world was a potential spark for rebellion, and Earth's defiance was a rallying cry that resonated far beyond its orbit. Reports of strange phenomena began to surface from distant systems, a ripple in space-time here, a burst of ancient energy there, each one hinting at a dormant power waiting to be awakened. And though many dismissed these occurrences as mere coincidences, there were those who knew better. They understood that Earth's triumph was not an isolated event, but the first chapter in a cosmic saga that would redefine the balance of power among the stars. In the aftermath of the invasion, Earth's leaders realized that the battle was not over, it was merely the beginning. The Dominion's defeat had sent ripples through the galaxy, and while many races heeded the warning, not all were so easily deterred. Far-flung corners of space, where ancient grudges simmered and ambitions burned bright, began to mobilize. A council of interstellar states was convened, and emissaries from worlds both advanced and primitive gathered to deliberate a unified response. "We have witnessed what a united front can achieve," intoned a representative from a nebula civilization. "Let Earth's defiance serve as a beacon for all who value freedom. Let it remind us that even in the face of overwhelming power, the spirit of resistance can never be silenced." Back on Earth, amid the celebrations and the reconstruction, a new generation grew up with a singular purpose: to honor the legacy of those who had fought for freedom and to prepare for the challenges yet to come. In every classroom, in every home, the story of the Titan was told, a tale of how an entire planet, once thought to be vulnerable and uninhabited, had risen in defiance against tyranny. The alien message, a final, desperate warning encoded in the ruins of their technology, had been broadcast far and wide. And though many in the cosmos were shaken by the revelation, Earth's example ignited a spark of rebellion across the stars. For every empire that had ever taken life for granted, there now existed the promise of retribution, a promise that the sleeping giants of their worlds might one day awaken, just as Earth's had. In the years that followed, humanity transformed its fear into strength. the military and scientific communities worked side by side to establish an integrated planetary defense system that honored the legacy of the Titan. Research centers sprouted around the globe, dedicated not only to the understanding of Earth's ancient energies, but also to harnessing them in ways that could secure the future of all life. Across continents, monumental projects were undertaken: seismic towers that doubled as communication relays, energy collectors that tapped into the planet's latent power, and advanced early warning systems that could detect the slightest tremor in the fabric of Earth's crust. Humanity was now a species on alert, a united front prepared to defend the home that had nurtured it for millennia. Citizens, too, embraced this new era. From bustling megacities to remote hamlets, people took pride in their collective identity, a recognition that Earth was not just a resource to be exploited, but a living partner in the eternal struggle for survival and freedom. In every street and every village, the stories of resistance were recounted with fervor, a shared memory that bound them together in the face of future challenges. As space exploration resumed with renewed determination, diplomats and military strategists alike recognized that the cosmos had changed irrevocably. Earth was no longer a silent backwater, but a beacon of hope and defiance. And while the scars of the invasion remained, a permanent reminder of the price of freedom, they also served as a source of inspiration. For in every hardship, every struggle, there was the promise of renewal, of a future forged in the crucible of adversity. In the twilight years of the old world, as the scars of battle began to fade, a council of elders was formed, a group drawn from every corner of the planet, tasked with preserving the legacy of the Titan and ensuring that the lessons of the past would not be forgotten. They gathered in a grand amphitheater carved into a mountainside, its stone walls inscribed with the epic tale of Earth's defiance. "There is a power in unity," intoned Elder Marisol, her voice resonating with the weight of centuries. "Our ancestors fought not only with weapons, but with their very hearts. Today, we honor that spirit by passing on the knowledge that led us here, a knowledge that is both ancient and ever-renewing." The council commissioned a great chronicle, a living document that would grow with each passing generation, capturing the triumphs, the tragedies, and the enduring hope of humanity. This chronicle was not merely a historical record, but a guide for the future, a testament to the belief that even in the face of insurmountable odds, the human spirit could rise again and again. As the chronicle was inscribed on vast stone tablets and distributed to every corner of the globe, its message was clear: Earth was a fortress of life, guarded by a power that transcended technology and warfare. It was a reminder to all who would dare challenge it that the defenders of this planet would never be broken, that in the face of tyranny, they would always rise, united and unyielding. Even as Earth embraced its renewed identity, the cosmos continued its ceaseless dance of creation and destruction. The echoes of the Titan's roar, amplified by the collective will of a species united by defiance, reverberated far beyond the blue borders of its atmosphere. Other races, long accustomed to complacency or subjugation, began to stir. In distant solar systems, oppressed peoples found courage in Earth's tale. Rebel fleets, once isolated and demoralized, now found new hope in the knowledge that even a seemingly insignificant planet could harbor a force capable of felling mighty empires. Plans for alliances and coordinated uprisings took shape, and whispers of revolution spread like wildfire through the star systems. Earth's diplomats were inundated with messages from far-flung worlds. They arrived with questions, proposals, and offers of mutual defense pacts, a call for unity against the forces of tyranny that lurked in the dark corners of the universe. "If Earth can awaken a sleeping giant," one emissary wrote, "then perhaps we too can rediscover the dormant strength within our own worlds." The message was clear: the battle for freedom was not confined to one planet, but was a cosmic imperative. In response, a grand summit was organized, a gathering of representatives from dozens of star systems, each one bearing the scars of oppression yet burning with the desire for change. Held in a vast orbital station above Earth, the summit became a forum for the exchange of ideas, strategies, and visions for a new future. And at its heart was the resounding message of a planet that had defied expectations and emerged victorious. As the Interstellar Alliance began to take shape, Earth found itself at the center of a new age, a renaissance of technology, diplomacy, and shared purpose. Scientists and engineers collaborated with their counterparts from other worlds, forging innovations that blended the ancient energy of the Titan with the cutting-edge technology of advanced civilizations. New starships were built, powered by energy drawn from the planet itself, a synthesis of nature and machine that embodied the spirit of defiant progress. These vessels, sleek and swift, became symbols of an interstellar resistance that spanned not only the stars but the hearts of countless beings. Every launch, every successful mission into the void, was a testament to the unbreakable will of life to flourish, even in the face of overwhelming darkness. Back on Earth, the memory of the invasion became both a cautionary tale and a wellspring of inspiration. Memorials were erected in cities, not as monuments to destruction, but as tributes to the unity and resilience that had saved the planet. In every statue, every inscription, the words humanity, fuck yeah, were etched, a defiant battle cry that echoed the spirit of resistance across generations. As preparations for future challenges continued, Earth's leaders made it clear the planet would never again be caught off guard. Every citizen, every institution, was now a guardian of the legacy that had been hard-earned through blood and sacrifice. And while the scars of the past served as a reminder of the price of freedom, they also stood as beacons of hope, an enduring promise that Earth's defenders would always be ready to rise and protect their home. In the final hours of the conflict, as the Dominion's shattered fleet vanished into the endless void, the cosmos seemed to pause in reverence. The lesson was etched in every star and every silent corner of space: no empire, no matter how powerful, could silence the roar of a united people defending their world. The Titan, its purpose fulfilled for the moment, receded back into the depths of the Earth. Its presence remained, a latent force waiting, ever vigilant, for the call to rise again should the need arise. Humanity had witnessed the embodiment of its planet's ancient spirit, and in doing so, had forged a bond with the very soul of Earth. As the years turned into decades, and the memory of the invasion passed into myth, the legacy of that fateful day endured. It was a legacy that inspired revolutions, bound together disparate civilizations, and set the stage for an interstellar era defined by cooperation and mutual respect. Earth was no longer just a planet, it was a symbol, a sanctuary, and a beacon of hope for every oppressed world scattered across the galaxies. In the grand tapestry of the universe, the awakening of the Titan had become a turning point, a moment when a sleeping giant stirred and reshaped the destiny of countless beings. And though the future remained uncertain, one truth was undeniable: as long as the spirit of freedom burned bright in the hearts of the courageous, no force in the cosmos could ever extinguish the light of hope. In the quiet moments after the storm, as Earth began its long journey toward healing and renewal, whispers of the Titan's awakening lingered in the wind. They spoke of a time when the boundaries between myth and reality blurred, when the Earth itself rose to defend its people, and when the defiant cry of humanity, fuck yeah, resounded across the stars. For those who had lived through the invasion, the memory was bittersweet, a mixture of sorrow for what had been lost and pride for the strength that had been discovered. For the new generations, it was a call to vigilance, a reminder that the guardianship of freedom was a legacy to be honored and preserved. As humanity rebuilt its cities and recharted its future, the world watched the heavens with wary optimism. The cosmos, it seemed, had taken note. Far beyond the reach of Earth's orbit, in distant corners of space, potential adversaries weighed their options, their ambitions tempered by the knowledge that a sleeping giant might one day awaken once again. And so, in every sunrise and every starlit night, the people of Earth carried with them the memory of that epic confrontation, a memory that urged them to stand firm, to fight for their home, and to never, ever forget that within every heart burned the spirit of defiance. It was a spirit that transcended time and space, binding all who believed in freedom into one eternal chorus, a chorus that declared, without reservation, that Earth was not a conquered world, but a living, breathing fortress of hope. As the planet settled into its new rhythm, a symphony of nature, technology, and human resilience, the legacy of the Titan endured. It was a legacy that would be passed down through the ages, inscribed not only in stone and memory, but in the very soul of a species that refused to be cowed. And though the future held uncertainties and the promise of further challenges, one truth remained clear: as long as the heartbeat of Earth resonated with the courage of its people, the call to defend freedom would echo across the cosmos. The end.